there any changes that have happened in Google Maps? Why are we even talking about Google Maps? What does it mean to dominate Google Maps? What do I need to do? And we want to walk through absolutely everything. We've worked with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of customers on their Google Maps listings from the days it was called Google Local, Google Places, Google My Business, and then now Google Business Profile is all involved in Google Maps. Why do you even need it? What do you even need to know about it? Why is it important? Some cases I would consider critical to most home service businesses, carpet cleaning, maid service, other cleans, pressure washing, you name it. Any home service business in general really needs to understand this topic inside out and backwards.
Welcome to the Carpet Cleaner Success Podcast, a show created to inspire carpet cleaning business owners to build their own thriving residential and commercial cleaning business. Your host, John Clendenning, has built and sold successful cleaning businesses for multiple six figures over his 30-year career and is the founder of Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters, a digital agency that turns your online marketing into a lead generation machine. Tune in as John shares proven tips, strategies, and expert interviews to help fast-track your success in the carpet cleaning industry.
If you want to own a business, then carpet cleaning might be one of the tasks you do. Hopefully it isn't. Hopefully you've got lots of people doing that for you and your company is growing. But what you do need to do is be the entrepreneur and the growth officer of the company. And what is that? Well, marketing and advertising generates sales, whether you're advertising and marketing to your current clients or whether you're bringing in new ones into the funnel, building the base so that you can continue to market and get repeats and referrals. That's what we're talking about. So this is just another one of those elements in the series. This, as I said, this is an important topic, important thing to think about and plan for your business. If you're a cleaning service, home cleaning, home service business owner, and you're serious about 2023, if you're serious about growing through 2023 and making 2023 better than your 2022, then the next 60 minutes or less is going to be one of those pivotal moments to pay attention to. What are we going to cover? We are going to cover the proven 4-step formula for getting carpet cleaning businesses and service businesses ranked in the most competitive markets. The number one issue that could actually be preventing your company from ranking in Google Maps. Where is Google Maps? What does it even mean? How do you know if you're ranking? All of those kinds of things are going to be talked about during this training. And the key ingredients for a top 3 listing. There is what they call the 3-pack. There is only 3 listings that that most people see. Beyond that, it's harder to find you, right? So really Google trunked it down to 3. Kind of sucks, but if you're one of the ones that dominate the 3, good for you, bad for the competitors. If you're not one of the ones, that's what we're going to talk about today. So, all right. So quickly, who am I? If you've been the first time around, then you might know you might want to hear some of this stuff, but not going to really spend too much time on it. But been in business since 1990. I was still in high school. That definitely dates me. Still in high school. I've consulted around the world. I've owned cleaning companies, service business companies, duct cleaning, flood restoration, carpet cleaning for 30 years. I actually still I'm help businesses run their businesses. I've helped redesign Yellow Page ads back in the day and create 5 times the results from the same Yellow Page spend and things like that back in the 2000s, and then helped franchise networks and did consulting with franchise networks and things like that over the years as well, and worked with individual cleaners around the world. And I'm the author of The Complete Guide to Internet Marketing for Carpet Cleaners. It's actually good for any service business. I've had some plumbers and some HVAC guys and you name it, others who've read the book and loved the information, been able to help their digital marketing. So more importantly, able to help our clients grow. That's most important. We help our clients grow with the services my agency does. I'm the owner of Carpet Cleaner Marketing Masters. We provide all of this free information and love to hear from you guys as well when you've gone through some of our training, done some of the changes like we're going to be talking about today, and gotten the results. So our goal is to make our clients the top cleaning brand in their local marketplace so they attract the best clients, are able to charge top rates in their market, and are booked out for weeks in advance. There's a way to do that. There's a formula. We just happen to know it. because ran it in our own businesses and have taught it for decades. And as technology changes, that changes sort of where you do what, but psychology doesn't change. People are still people. The same marketing that worked, hundreds of years ago. Claude Hopkins' Scientific Advertising, written in the early 1900s, still one of the best books on how to properly advertise and market in a very structured, scientific, strategic way. So how do we do this? Well, we do it by leveraging the 3 core principles of digital marketing success. We want to maximize the opportunities to generate a qualified lead, right? So that's what you want to be doing in business. You want to maximize those opportunities to generate a qualified lead. So what does that mean? Well, it means not putting all your eggs in one basket, for one, because you can have all your eggs in a Facebook ad basket. You can maybe say, hey, most of my customers come from repeats and referrals, right? Well, that's not maximize your opportunities. If you've got a really good referral system in place and you have lots of referral partners and lots of customers referring you, that's maybe 1 or 2 sources. But if you want to maximize your opportunities, do you not want more A-list customers coming into your funnel to then create the lifetime value from? So you want to have them coming from all sources, online, offline. You want them seeing your yard signs and your mailers and your van, and you want them to see your Google Maps listing and your rankings on Google. We'll talk about a little bit about in the context of all of this. You want to be able to see them on social media, and that leads us right into maximizing your brand impressions as well. So maximizing your brand impressions is making sure that you're seen as the obvious expert to your ideal client. So I'm sure you guys all know the business in town. Maybe it's a real estate agent. Maybe there's a lawyer that you know of, at top of mind. Maybe it's one of your competitors in the cleaning space, home service space, and they just dominate everywhere. You see them on the back of buses. You see them on every billboard. You see them when you go online. They're in your inbox. They're following you around on the internet. People are talking about them. People are sharing, things that they've done, that kind of thing. Their brand impressions are everywhere. Why is that important? Well, if you can maximize your brand impressions to let your marketing grow as your business grows, it becomes a compounding effect. Then you start getting exponential growth because everybody sees you as the obvious expert. And then you want to maximize your conversions. So one of the things we're going to talk about today is reviews. Reviews are one of those things to maximize conversions. It's 78% of people trust reviews as much as a personal recommendation from a friend. These are studies that have been done around the world determining how do people see online reviews and where do they see the online reviews? Is it just Google? Is that all we're talking about here? Or are we talking about, are reviews necessary in other places as well? Because maximizing conversions, that's one element to build that trust factor. And it also creates a lot of other weight on the internet and ranking weight that we'll talk about as well. So all of that plays into today's topic, but it plays into every topic, right? So that leads us to the big question. Does Google Maps even matter, right? What is it and does it matter? Well, what is it? Google Maps is that spot where they show the 3 listings, whether it's on a mobile device or on a desktop. And you should know how many people are coming through which on your end. Like you should know, not guess, but actually know. What we find is most people go, oh, most of my clients come from their mobile phones, right? And when we run the stats and the data, Google Analytics, again, Google Maps, Google My Business or Google Business Profile actually shows you the devices people are using. And we usually find that's still not the case. People start a search on their mobile device and move to a larger screen in a lot of cases to make a final decision. And we'll show you a little bit about that as well. But Google Maps is that section that's right below at the top. There's usually local service ads now. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then pay-per-click, but the paid section at the top, you pay per call in local service ads, Google Guarantee, some people call it, and then you have pay-per-click ads below that. And that generates somewhere in that ballpark of 15% of all the clicks. Then the maps generates between 32 and 43% of clicks, depending on the buyer's intent. If they're urgent, if they're, again, different demographics, different mindsets, that generates the clicks. The other 50% of the clicks are down below. but they're higher up in the funnel, as we say. So a client's journey is I'm reading, I'm learning, I'm comparing, I'm checking directories. We'll talk a little bit about that today as well. All of that shows down in the organic results. So the websites are down there, including the Yelps and the Thumbtacks of the world, plus the local websites. So yeah, is it important? Do you want to miss out on 32 to 43% of all possible jobs in your immediate area? No, you don't. So yes, Google Maps is very, very important. And to kind of drive that point home even more, if you track the calls that come into your business, if you are ranking well in Google Maps for the proximity around your business, and again, there's a lot of stuff I'm going to say, we're going to talk about that because we're going to go through this in depth and in detail. But if you rank well near your ideal target market, bar none, Google Maps is going to be the number one source of calls before organic. Organic, your website, below Google Maps, people learning, reading, blog content, all of that kind of stuff. Just literally in carpet cleaning, you think, who does this? People just, I need a carpet cleaner, and they call somebody. Nope, I need a carpet cleaner, they find the cheapest ad. That is not the case. If that's where you're getting most of your work from, you're literally, I can tell you right now, you're missing out on 50 to 75% of all the jobs that somebody else in your marketplace or other businesses are getting. Because across the board, in a business that has got multiple ways to generate a lead, you'll find that Google Maps will be the top one if you're ranking well there as well, and you're ranking well organically, and you've got other things like Google Ads, local service ads, you've got Facebook ads, things like that. Jim Rohn basically has once said that, or is known to say, not just once said, he's said it a million times, that a business needs multiple sources of leads to be successful. You can't rely on one. Is that 5, 10, 15, 20 different sources of leads coming in? They all have different weight and different times of year, different reasons why, different clientele coming through them, all of that stuff. But you need to be thinking of, how can I have 10, 15, 20 different sources of leads? Google Maps is one of them, and it's one of the biggest ones of them, but it's just one of them. So that's part of what we need to talk about as well. It is very important because it becomes the number one source of traffic to your business. So yes, Google Maps drives calls, and you can't rely on one source or paid ads alone. You can't rely. Paid ads include just a Facebook ad campaign and nothing else, a Google ad campaign and nothing else. Local service ads, definitely something everybody should be doing. You can't just rely on those. You can't just rely on door hangers and every door mails and things like that. There's a lot. You can't just rely on referrals either, because they all play a role. And I'm going to show you a huge role Google Maps plays in referral marketing as well. We're going to talk about that. So now that I hopefully have kind of beat it home that Google Maps are important. If Google Maps are important to you, if you understand the volume of calls you're getting from Google Maps, just put maps in the chat. Cool. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we're getting a couple of maps coming in. Just if it's not important to you, it should be important, and we're going to show you why. Now, with everything, every type of lead source in business, there is the advantages and the disadvantages, right? So, in Google Ads, there's advantages and disadvantages. In organic rankings, there are advantages and disadvantages. There are things that can hold you back. There's things that it excels at, and other things it misses out on, right? So in that world, the biggest challenges with Google Maps is it's very geo-based. So it can also vary depending on search device, your location, the internet type, whether you're on, on data or on a Wi-Fi, the history of those searches that are going on as well. So it's very proximity based, like carpet cleaning near me. Well, near me is near where I am. My IP address is pinging right now. Right? So what's Google going to do? It's going to go out and find, part of it's going to be, okay, all things being equal, what's the radius around this person? And who can I serve up that, matches their search intent? If I go to the other side of town, what I would get in a result, if I go like 4 blocks, 5 blocks, 10 blocks away, depending on the size of your town, the result's going to be different, right? So it's very geo-based. Google's serving up paid ads in the map results. So in areas where you do not have a maps presence because it's too far away, and we'll talk about how you should be thinking through that in your business. But in areas that do not have a decent maps presence, you don't have a decent maps presence, you can influence. You can put an ad in the maps, like it's a Google. You have to be running a Google Ads campaign and a pay-per-click campaign, and then you can have an extension turned on that allows Google to decide to choose to slide you in the maps listing or not. It's not like guaranteed, I want to be here and there you go. It's actually just part of Google's algorithm and AI, and they're rotating between different businesses and things like that as well, because there's only one spot available. So it's based on the searcher's intent, it's based on their device, it's based on a whole bunch of stuff, but you can influence it to show your ad as a maps listing. It always shows above, and I'll say the little word ad beside it, but that's one option as well. Google local service ads are live in most major markets, and they are influenced very heavily by Google Maps as well, and I'll show you how those two actually connect together. So that's the home services and Google Maps. The other thing it does is it actually pushes your maps listing down even farther, because you've got the home services, then pay-per-click, then maps. So it's moved them down the page a little bit more. And you want to complete all advanced verification processes as well. That is one of the biggest challenges. You want to make sure you're through everything in the Google Maps world. So we'll talk about that. So I mentioned this. There are two different, like if you searched from two different locations for the exact same search, like carpet cleaning near me. Say you're on, in a big enough town, you're on the north side of town versus the south side of town, right? So maybe you're in Minneapolis, St. Paul, and you're on the one side of Minneapolis, and you go to the other side of St. Paul. Obviously, that's the Twin Cities are combined together. Or if you're in Dallas, Fort Worth, and you're in one area in Fort Worth versus Plano and stuff like that. You search, the results you're going to get are going to be entirely different, simply by where your proximity is. So one of the things that is worth considering is, that we're going to talk about in sort of in the best optimization of your Google Maps listing is, there's two sides to this, but are you located? Do you have a physical address business that has signage on it that people can come to, right? If not, you have to be set up as a service area business. So obviously many carpet cleaners, if they run out of their home, even if they've got crews leaving the home, or they run out of an industrial shop that they don't have doors open, people can't come to, they might run as a service area business because they can't legitimately tell Google that and prove to Google that people show up at their business to buy spot removers, to drop off area rugs, things like that, to pay bills, all that kind of stuff. So they can't be a physical business and they can't prove that. They're a service area business. Google still knows where the base of your service area business is. You're just telling it a radius that you service, but Google is not going to show you in that area, that entire radius that you say you service. The algorithm, all things being equal, regardless of what they say, we've noticed that a business with an address, a legitimate business with an address, tends to rank a little bit higher in the maps listings around that address than does a business that's a service area business, right? So first thing to consider. The other one is, if you are 2 towns away from the main town you want to service, are you ever going to rank in that main town in the maps listing? No. We've had clients who've said, hey John, I'm not ranking in the main city. Like I'm sitting here at a gas station, I'm sitting here at a traffic light, and I can't find myself. And it's like, no, you can't, because you are 20 miles that way. And that's, Google knows you there, and they don't share you on all things being equal, things like reviews and all the other stuff we're going to talk about today that help you rank. All those things being equal, Google still says, if you've got all of that stuff right, and so does your competitors, or most of that stuff right, then your proximity is the most important. So 2 different locations, very, very important. The other thing we want to talk about is maps and home service businesses. So Google Guarantee, Google Home Local Service. you'll notice that there's reviews showing in here. You want those two connected because, and have that whole account set up. Even if we suggest everybody runs Google Local Service. If you don't know how, reach out to us. We'll help you with it. But you want to be in there because it is a great source of leads, better so than even pay-per-click. And in most marketplaces, and at least worth testing in every marketplace. But it also connects to your Google Maps listing, and your reviews influence this. You'll also notice sometimes that a customer or a business might have, say 150 reviews in their local service Google Guarantee area, and they only have 125 reviews in the Google Maps listing. Why the difference? Well, the difference comes from the fact that in local service, you can actually reach out to just those customers that came. It's pay-per call. They called, they messaged you through there, and you can reach out to them after the job and ask for a review directly in there as well. And some of that helps influence algorithms. If you want to go back to our call or our masterclass training on Google Local Service from a few months ago, you can go to the website and look it up under the Learning Library area, and you'll see that we did a call and a training all on that, and that was one of the pieces we talked about as well. But yeah, there is a Maps and home service connection that you want to be really, really aware of. Right? So in search, this is that point about you kind of want to be everywhere, because when people come into Google, and again, Google's 60 to 70% of where people find their carpet cleaners. So there's still other areas, and we're going to talk about some of those. But you definitely want to make sure that, in that maximizing your opportunity to generate a lead, that you are running ads in the home service, the Google Local Service home service ads area. Pay-per-click will be your most expensive leads, but you want to be there in a targeted way. Most businesses done properly, you should be there in a targeted way to collect the leads that show up there that other businesses. You don't want your competitors grabbing those leads. There are some marketplaces where the Google paid ads, PPC ads as they're called, may not be a great source of leads, because all of your competitors are discount. They're treating this almost like a Groupon area, and to differentiate, you're finding it hard. Our team has got some really cool ways of helping to differentiate if that is your marketplace. But if it's a good mix of some people offering discounts, some people just offering really great service, and you're one of them, then yeah, being in there is a place to be. But you will pay a little bit more per landing a client. Google Maps, you definitely want to be there, as we said, for at least that proximity around your business, 5 to 7 miles, 10 miles, however far that can be stretched with really, really good Google Maps optimization. And you want to consider a point about maybe where your office is located, and we'll kind of talk about that a little bit as well. And then you want to be found in the organic, because again, that's the readers or leaders. That's the longer term sales cycle, but they're going down there for a reason. And you want to make sure that not only your website shows up, but you're in all of the directories that show up there as well. And we'll talk about that. So hopefully that makes sense. You want to definitely sign up for your local services. And we're just suggesting everybody does that. If you need help with it, just reach out to us. But you can go to adwords.google.com/local-services/sign-up. That's, or just Google, Google Guarantee, Google Local Service sign up, and go through that process. There's background checks, there's insurance checks, things like that. But going through that process is definitely worth it in today's marketplace. Right? So, yeah, you're gonna, as we mentioned, some of the biggest changes going on are that home services, local services have shown up in every market now, so it pushes the page down a little bit, and then you're going to find a lot of third-party listings down in the organic. So Yelp, Angie's List, Thumbtack. 3 Best Rated is another one that ranks fairly well, and stuff like that. So you want to really be influencing to make sure that when it says the 10 best carpet cleaning near me in Denver, for example, you're actually one of the 10 Yelp chooses. How do you get there? There's lots of other training on that. We'll touch on it a little bit here, but ultimately it really is, you want to make sure that you can dominate as many of those spots as possible. That is one of the biggest changes in the last year or so and going into 2023. The other big change is that Google says it has reduced fake Google Maps listings by up to 70% since 2015. So Google is always looking to get rid of bad listings. So there are companies that will go out there and make fake addresses and fake listings. There used to be people that would use, you would use like a UPS store, a mailbox store, all over your, your town, and have a whole bunch of different Google listings for your business where you really only have one business. And that Google has gotten really, really smart at that. They've gotten a lot better at the tools that they use to police that. Google local service guides, people that check in, and like you can become one as well, but give ratings and reviews. Is if you do enough of them, you become a local service guide, then you kind of go up the ladder. If they find that a business is fake, they can flag it. And a level 5, level 6 local service guide and above, if they flag a business as fake or illegitimate, they are so well trusted. Google actually removed that listing first to ask questions later. So no, you don't want to be gaming the system and faking the system as well, right? So there's a lot of different spam that you can do in your listing that is incorrect. So you want to make sure your listing is set up the right way. But yeah, you want to make sure that that you're not trying to game the system with fake listings. They should be legitimate listings, but there's ways to there's sort of ways to have a legitimate listing, and we suggest as close to your major client center as possible as well. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So hopefully that makes sense. You kind of want to make sure you're doing everything the right way. You want to be pulling the right levers and pushing the right buttons, and we're going to walk through what those levers and buttons are. But you definitely don't want to be faking the system. Gone are the days where you can just spam Google, show up everywhere, and hopefully get all the phone calls. They won't just get rid of those fake listings. They, in many cases, will get rid of your main listing as well, or at least suppress it because they know that you're trying to game the system. So what else could be hurting your rankings in Google Maps? So you need an office in the city that you're targeting to rank well in Google Maps. So we've advised some people actually, move their, if you're planning to open an office up, plan with this in mind. It's actually a consideration. Like, yeah, rent might be cheaper over there, but if you can get an office listing, a maps listing right near the demographic area that you're targeting, your ideal client, and you can show up in maps for that 5 to 7 mile radius around your location, and that pulls in this massive amount of customers compared to where you are rurally or the town away or in the industrial section. We've had clients who, they've got a really nice shop right in the industrial area, massive industrial area of town. Well, they rank beautifully in the maps for the industrial area, but not in the residential areas, right? So what are ways you can do it? Well, you can look for small offices. Sometimes you might be paying $500 a year to get just Google a search for small offices in whatever near a certain, area of town, or look at them popping up and find out, hey, this is the area of town I want to be in. Check that out. Think $500 a month, $6,000 a year. You go, oh my gosh, John, I don't want to move my office or open up a physical office location. Maybe your warehouse is still where it is, but your physical, office location, small office is elsewhere, like closer to your ideal client target, because it's $6,000. Well, think of how many customers are in that area that aren't seeing you, that, if you're driving 20, 50, 100 calls a month from your Google Maps listing versus 10 or 15, right? How many of those do you need to book? Maybe your average job is $300, $400, 200 on a low end, hopefully, but $300 to $400 should be an average, in-home job for a carpet cleaner. Or if you're a maid service and you're generating a couple $1,000s a year per client, then think, how many calls do you need? You might only need 10 bookings to cover that office, 20 bookings in a year. So really think about it. And then, because those new customers you just generated, they're back next year and next year and next year, and you're still generating new ones in the area. You're building your dominance in that area. Again, maximizing your opportunities to get a lead, maximizing your brand impressions. You're doing all of that. So really, really think of where your office location is on a Google Maps scenario because it could be hurting. And what it means is it does mean that you would need more paid ads, more paid Facebook ads and Google ads and local service ads to make up for that missing volume. As we said, the number one source for inbound leads for most businesses will come from Google Maps if it's set up properly. So did you try and spam your Google listing with fake locations? If you did that, it's definitely hurting your rankings by now. Do you have an inconsistent name, address, or phone number profile around the web? They're called a citation. So your name, your address, and your phone number is called your citation. So if you've got an inconsistent, any one of those, maybe you lived in you had an office in a different area and some of those are still showing up when you Google your name, type in your phone number. Did you have different phone numbers? Things like that. If you've got an inconsistency, Google's going, I wonder which one of these is right. Not really sure. And all Google all Google can do is read. Like at the end of the day, Google is just in indexes, pages, it can read. So if it's reading your data around the web and it's matching it up and going, I got some missing and inconsistent things, that's going to be hurting your rankings for sure, right? Consistency across all your different citations is really, really important to make Google go, okay, I trust these guys. Yeah, that's who they are and where they are. Did you try and spam your city or services in your company name, right? If you put, if you're, Elite Carpet Care, right? Elite Carpet Cleaning, right? You've got the keyword in there. But say you called yourself Elite Services. Did you put Elite Services, carpet cleaning, upholstery cleaning, and tile and grout cleaning in Brantford? That became the name of your company, right? Did you put that in Google Maps? That's called spamming your company name. They are going to demote your rankings, if not suppress it entirely, because that's not the name of your company. They're actually even, they're getting better and better and better at reaching out and going, can you prove that's your name? Show me that's the name. So ideally what you want to do is definitely have your primary service in the name of your business. So if you currently are, wiseindustries.com and you do, carpet cleaning, tile cleaning, some duct cleaning, and you've got a bunch of different services, but you're Wise Industries, that's not going to benefit you at all. What we often suggest is actually open up a division, go get a DBA, doing business as, from your state or your local community for the service. So under the name of that company, have a service business that is, Wise Carpet Cleaning, right? Or something like that. Now that's now your primary category. What is the primary thing you do? That is your primary category. It is in the name of your business, and that's legit, right? So I would suggest thinking through these things. Don't just kind of stick with a bad name because it's all over the place. If you really want to sort of add that consistency together, there is some things like that you really need to think about. Sometimes just amending your name slightly for the carpet cleaning division, as an example, will just double your Google Maps calls because it starts connecting a few more dots, right? So, and then you want to make sure your name, address, and phone number everywhere else is changed to match that. And then you want to make sure you have enough reviews on the web. Reviews are important. We not only are reviews important for conversions. People read reviews and make a decision based on those. Reviews are an important ranking factor. If your competitors are sitting with 150 reviews, you need to get to 150 reviews, and you need to consistently get them in, because it's not just about volume. It's not getting to a number and stopping. If you got 150 reviews and you've kind of been stuck on that number for 3 years, and your competitors on average are adding, the ones that are in the top 3 are adding 2, 3, 4, 5 new reviews a month, then Google knows that. It sees you're falling behind. So you really, really want to make sure that you're getting enough reviews and you're monitoring your competitors to keep that flowing as well. Cool. So with all of that in mind, let's talk about our proven formula for getting ranked in the 3-pack. It's a 4-step formula. There's a lot of nuance in it, but it really is only about 4 primary steps. So you want to claim and optimize your Google Maps listing, right? So we'll talk about what that means by optimizing it. You want to build citations. We just talked about that. Your name, address, and phone number around the web, and name, address, and phone number. That's called your NAP consistency. You want to be everywhere important, and you want to be consistent everywhere important. You want to get lots and lots and lots of real reviews, right? And we're going to talk about how to get reviews. We're going to talk about what's, even better than getting, like, more important than just harping for reviews, and a different way of doing it that works really, really well. But we'll tell you a little bit about that as well. And you want to make sure that you have on-page optimization. On-page means on your website. Your website gives signals. There's other things that give signals as well, but on-page typically relates to your website, and you want to have signals from your website proving to Google that you provide these exact services in these areas. Do that well, and Google will trust you. Don't do that well, and Google will trust somebody else. So think of it in those terms. Okay. So step number one on that list, the 4 elements. Number 1, claim and optimize your Google listing. So it's Google Business Listing. It used to be called Google My Business. So if you hear GMB, Google My Business, Google Business Listing, GBL, they're all the same thing. Google just keeps kind of changing the name. They've kind of left the graphic the same for quite a while. So if you see that graphic, you know what we're talking about as well. But make sure you have a login for your Google My Business account, right? So you need to log into a Google account and claim your listing if you've never claimed it, right? If somebody else owns it, you want to have it transferred to you. It's your business. You should be in ownership of your assets. You can let other people help you manage it, but you need to be the owner of your assets, right? So that's important. Once you're in there, you want to update your company name to read company name and nothing else. You do not want to add anything that's not on your business listing, your DBA, proof that that's the business you own, right? So if you really want to change that, and again, in some cases that makes sense. If you're not sure, reach out to us. We can have that conversation. But in some cases, it does make sense to say, hey, your business name doesn't reflect what you do well enough to tell Google what you do, and may be hurting your listing. So definitely claim your listing, put your real business name in there. If there's a consideration to change it later, but at least get it right so you don't get suppressed. Right? Add your website. This will create an important inbound link back to your website. So you're building a little bit of Google juice because you're adding your website in your Google Maps listing, and it goes, oh, there you go. There's a backlink, right? From a really trusted source. It helps your website rank as well. You want to use local numbers. Don't use 800 numbers. Use local numbers in your Google Maps listing. Your Google Maps listing is not going to show hundreds of miles away or even 20 miles away in most cases. You don't need 800 numbers in a Google Maps listing. In your Google Maps listing, use local numbers. We'll even talk a little bit about tracking numbers as well. Really important, or can be important, but and there's a couple reasons for that. But it's still, even a tracking number should be a local number. You want to use a local address, not a PO box, not a UPS store. It's got to be a local address. So again, if you're looking, if you want to have a small office, small office spaces in, pick a suburb, pick a whatever, do a Google search on that. Maybe it makes sense to have an admin office there and the shop where the technicians show up and pick up the vans or whatever over at your garage at your house or whatever. But because you can now place yourself in your target market much better. We want to upload photos, as many as possible. Almost like your Google Business Listing allows you to upload photos. Think of it, if you're going to upload a photo to social media, if you're going to put something on Facebook or on Instagram, of your pictures of yourself, we're not showing you out at the bar. We're not showing the motorcycle you love. This is images that will influence somebody's trust in your company, right? So it's going to be pictures of your staff, you, the owner, in uniform, not in a muscle shirt. Like, really think this stuff through. It sounds funny that I'm saying that, but the times that we have seen customers of ours, we start working with a new client, we go into the Google Business Listing to optimize it, and we just go, oh my gosh, really? That's the pictures you chose to put up? No, make them legit. I prefer candid photos versus sort of professionally done photos in your Google business listing, only because people that are there are real people trying to make a real decision to choose a real company. If they see staged photos, that feels a little fake. It doesn't give the right psychological impression. If they see real people, smiling, but it's a real, it's the company, and they're thought through well. Pictures of your trucks, your equipment. You can put pictures of coupons, your work for sure. Always be showing pictures of your work. You really, really want to leverage your maps listing to have a lot of great pictures at the beginning and then add pictures over time, right? So you want to be adding real authentic pictures to your maps list. There's a couple little of those gray areas, like things that you can do to influence your maps listing. It's ranking a little bit better. One of them is when you take pictures, a little bit farther away from your location, your map pin drop, where Google knows your hub is. You're trying to influence that farther out a little bit. When you take pictures there, when you upload them, say from a phone, or you save them correctly and upload them correctly, there is a geotag buried in that picture, the latitude and longitude. Now, rumor is Google strips it out, but Google sees it before it strips it out. And there is a little bit of credit that it can give, knowing that picture came from over there while your phone was right on that side. But there's a whole bunch of things like that. There's different ways to influence, but upload lots of photos, really important. And use your exact hours was that last one. Let's go back. Exact hours of operation, and all the services you offer. You really want to make sure that you have every service that you offer mentioned in your Google listing properly, right? So, what it looks like now is, where do you find your Google business listing? Used to be that you had to log into Google Business to find it. Google's moved that to search. So if you are logged into the Google account that has access to your listing, right? As the owner, as a manager, anything like that, then if you're logged in there, then just by searching up your business name, you're going to see your Google listing right here, and you're going to see all of the ability to edit your photos, and only you are going to see this. Other people aren't. So you're going to see you can read reviews, you can check all your performance stats, you can edit products and your services, things like that. You can, anybody's reaching out for a quote request, all of these kinds of things can all be managed from this dashboard that's right in Google search. Just go to Google and search your business name. And if you're logged into a Google account that you manage this on, that's where you manage it all. So there's lots and lots of stuff that you can do once in there, but that's how you find it, right? You can add updates. Those are Google posts. We'll talk a little bit about that as well. Right. So again, from in there, you want to add photos. You want to add lots and lots of photos. You're going to be able to check your performance. So for an example, as an example of this listing right here, 7,085 people viewed their profile in the last 3 months, right? That's a lot of people. And they showed up 827 times in search. But we get to see here as well who searched from what. 51%, this is that example I mentioned, 51% searched from a desktop to get their listing, right? Most people say, oh, everybody's on mobile. We find this across the board that in a lot of situations, it isn't like mobile's part of it. But again, mobile, they showed up in Google search 37% of the time. In Google Maps only, so somebody actually went to the Google Maps mobile app, only 8% of the time. And Google Maps on desktop, only 4% of the time. So for sure, search is more important than the Maps apps, right? So instead of just going directly to Maps, when you search a business name in your phone, like through a Google browser, a Chrome browser, in google.com, that is what this means right here. And when you search based on using Google Maps, it's this one. So, and unfortunately, I just mentioned Google and my.
Released in 2008 for Microsoft Windows, built with free software.
So, and my Google Home Google Dot just started talking to me. So, anyways, So yeah, and you can see here, what were the key search terms that they showed up for? Carpet cleaning. They're showing up for carpet clean. They're obviously carpet cleaning Denver, carpet cleaning near me. Google's going to tell you right inside your listing what terms you're actually showing up for, so you know what keywords that your Google Maps listing is actually ranking for. So if you don't see some of your other services there is a good chance, like down the list somewhere, there is a good chance that you either haven't told Google you do those services, or you haven't optimized for your upholstery cleaning, your tile cleaning, things like that. Because again, based on volume of calls, you might get most of your calls based on carpet cleaning, but down the list, you should also be getting interactions based on your other services if you're set up properly. So what does that mean by having set up properly? So let's take a look at this, for example. So you can set inside, again, on that main screen. So we go back here, on this main screen right here, you can edit your profile and start editing your categories, right? So what's your main category? Well, in most cases in carpet cleaning is still the number one driver of your business. It's the highest volume. More people clean their carpets than other things. It's the one that you want everything to be as the primary category. You got to tell Google, are you a carpet cleaner or are you something else, right? But look at all the other categories that come up available for cleaning, right? So, carpet cleaning for sure, but house cleaning, you might be doing air duct cleaning as well. You might do commercial cleaning. So again, commercial carpet cleaning, commercial cleaning services, leather cleaning services, upholstery cleaning services, curtain and upholstery cleaning services. So you want to double check all the other categories. You can type a couple different words in there as well, but you want to make sure that you're adding the categories of the services that you provide, so that Google knows, hey, not just carpet cleaning, but these other services as well, right? So you want to make sure that you've done that. And again, as far as, I just can't harp on this enough, you want to make sure that you're collecting reviews. And we're going to talk about the right way to do that, but you want to continuously get reviews to your maps listing. If there's sort of a sweet spot, a lot of people go, oh, I've got 500 reviews or 300 reviews and they're all 5-star. Did you know actually psychologically in all the polls and studies done that you as the business owner are the only one who likes all 5-star reviews? Most people in polls stated that they don't trust a company that has all 5 stars as much as they trust. The sweet spot is right around 4.7, 4.8, but anywhere in that, 4.2, 4.3 and up, you've got enough reviews and you're trusted. The other thing is every single review should have a response. Good. Every positive review, every negative review should have a very, very pleasant, empathetic, thankful response. Why? Because the next person reading that review, whether it was a positive review or a 2-star or a 1-star, they're reading it to make a decision on your company. Some of the data in you answering a review actually becomes text on the net, so it becomes keywords and things like that. But really think less about that and think more about influencing the next conversion because you answered a customer's praise of you and you thoughtfully said thank you to them for choosing your company, and a couple different ways of doing that. Or, when they were upset, you empathetically apologize, ask them to reach out, things like that to solve the condition. If it's an absolute malicious, one of those crazy customers, there's nobody at Google to call to get them to take off a review. There's a couple places you can try if it's really like, you've got lawyers involved, it's defamatory, things like that, right? But other than that, Google's going to go, no, that was their experience and they're allowed to state it. So if it's not legitimate, you can say, hey, thank you so much for providing this review. I'm sorry you had such a bad experience. I've checked all of our records and I can't find a customer by this name anywhere. Are you sure you've got the right company? We definitely do offer the best guarantees. If you're not happy, we will come back and re-clean. If you're still not happy, you get your money back. So it doesn't sound like us, things like that. You can always answer that way. But having that answer in there makes other people go, huh, okay, I get it. And if they respond back and say, nope, it was definitely you, and here's the date and here's the time, okay, take it up, legitimately solve the problem, see if they will amend the review. Hey, I had a problem with these guys. I reached out, they came back, they solved it, or they gave my money back, whatever it is. So yeah, I've amended my review. That can happen as well. So anyways, always think of responding to reviews. It's a big part of conversions. It's a big part of optimizing your listing as well. So Google business best practices: update your photos and add to them on a consistent basis. Leverage Google Posts. This says once every 90 days. That's actually a bit of a typo. It should, usually the rule is like Google says once every sort of 30 days. What we find is if you can update Google Posts, those are the posts right inside, you can put right inside your Google listing. If you can update them once a week, about one of your services and topics like that, that's going to be helpful. In fact, with the clients that we help rank, we do 3 to 4 a week, sometimes even more if they're in a really competitive market. Very strategically thinking, hey, we're trying to rank more for the upholstery cleaning side, and we want, let's talk about a recent upholstery cleaning jobs. Let's talk about a blog post about upholstery cleaning. Let's link back to that. Things like that. There's ways to sort of be strategic. You don't have to worry about being that strategic at this point, but you definitely want to do Google Posts at least once a month, not once every 3 months. At least once a month, but I would suggest do once a week. Put a post up there, or at least as often as you can. Want to respond to reviews, and then answer the questions that get posted. There's a whole section of Google where customers can ask questions and you can answer them, right? There's an FAQ as well. You're going to want to have, frequently asked questions, write a few of them and answer them, like the frequently asked questions section where the public ask the question. One idea, again, there's little things that can move a needle a little bit. One idea is you could ask some customers or friends to ask a few questions, not a ton, but just to sort of get the ball rolling. Key questions that you can answer, like where do you service, what services do you provide, how long does it take your carpets to dry, things like that, things that you want to kind of get out there. It helps because it's keyword driven, because it is talking about your cleaning services. It also helps complete your listing, and Google loves complete listings and loves all of that data coming in. So you definitely want to have that going as well. So all of that was optimizing your listing. So put 1 in the chat if you kind of understood that optimizing your listing is a lot of things, but you need to get the foundation right. Cool, a couple of ones coming in. Yeah, you need to get your foundation right. You have to get your foundation right before you can kind of move on to the next step. And it is more important than just having a listing. You've got to build it properly, right? And then you want to get into your citations with your NAP consistency. So again, citation just is a fancy word for your name, address, and phone number. So you want lots of quality citations across the web. So you want to have what's called structured and unstructured citations. So structured ones, your name, address, phone number. You want local niche ones as well. Unstructured ones don't have the sort of like the coding in the background, but it still links to you, links to your website. Consistent references of the company name, added phone number. So you want to make sure not only do you have lots of them, that they're consistent. You want to limit duplicate or incorrect business information. So you don't want to have 2 listings on the same directory and things like that as well. You want to be very, very sharp about this. And you want to pay attention to the data aggregators. So these are the big data aggregators that all it means is they take your information. If your information is right on Factual, there is hundreds of sites that Factual posts to. If your information is right on Axiom, there's hundreds and hundreds of sites that Axiom also like that. They share the information out to, and they grab the information from Axiom. They don't call you up. They don't care what you say in Google. They go to that data aggregator source. So you want to check those to make sure your listing is accurate on all of those. So how do you do all of this? Well, you can reach out to a company that does it for you, or you can take a look at some of these tools that are available. Whitespark, Bright Local, Moz Local, Yext, they all have a paid platform of some sort. You're going to spend a couple $100, maybe $300, $400, $500 one time for a amount of citations to start with. Some of them charge ongoing to maintain that listing, sort of lock it down, things like that. Yext can be about $1,000 a year or more, but it's all worth it. You can manually go out one by one, but there's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, and you want to know which ones to check. So if you want to run a free citation consistency and accuracy check, You can just go to carpetcleanermarketingmasters.com/scan. And we have a tool there that not only scans, that's one of the many things it scans. It does a whole local visibility and reputation scan and checks your website out for speed and competitors. It's a really cool tool that just goes out and pulls a whole bunch of data. We pay for a lot of big data to pull in and stuff like that. And we offer this for free just for people that are looking to see where they currently sit. And one of the parts of that scan shows you how your name, address, and phone number shows up in Google's eyes. Right? So you may go, oh, I got it everywhere. Well, not if it's connected, the dots aren't connected properly. How does Google see your listing, right? On all of the major directories. So when you get there, it's going to kind of look like this. And you're just going to put your business name and phone number in. Show me my score. It's going to pull up and ask you if this is your business. It's going to kind of reach out and try and find you. If it can't find you, you're going to put all the rest of your business information in as Google knows it kind of idea, and then run the report. The report's going to come back looking like this. We're going to give you a visibility grade, a reputation grade. Visibility is what we're talking about, your citations, your listing, how it shows up, how many reviews you got, how many listings are you on, what category are you in, right? And then your video visibility, all of that kind of stuff. It's going to get into websites and all kinds of stuff. So it's a really, really detailed report. It takes a little while to run. Some of the stuff pops up right away. Other stuff takes a while to run, but you're gonna find out what customers are saying about you. You're gonna find all the errors around the web and stuff like that. So again, you just want to go to carpetcleanermarketingmasters.com/scan, and you can run that free report for yourself. Oops. So best practices: you want to manually claim and optimize your Google listing. You want to leverage tools that get you listings everywhere else, or services that you want to be able to get all of the listings around the top 50 and then start adding more local and things like that. You want to get on all the major data aggregators, and you can use other tools to find other opportunities as well. Some of the other opportunities, this might be a little hard to see the screen, but top citation sources for carpet cleaners, these are the top citation, like Better Business Bureau. You want to get in your local Better Business Bureau. Yeah, Home Advisor is a top citation source. You want to at least get a free listing in there. You want to make sure on Manta and Porch and MapQuest and all of those, like that's just a general list. You want to make sure that you're also on some of the top sites. So if you're a franchise, you're obviously going to be on your franchise site like ChemDries and Stanley Steamers, but you also want to make sure you have a YouTube. You want to make sure you have a Facebook business listing, right? You want to make sure you've got super pages and things like that, because Google's looking for those. So if Google's looking for those, and if there are people that go onto those even every now and then, and you're not there, you've missed out, right? And then you want to have some brand searches and stuff like that as well. But on top of that, you want to make sure that you're in specific niche directories. Google knows that these are some of the top directories for the cleaning industry. ISSA for sure. We do a lot of conversation with CleanFacts magazine. I've got a monthly Take 5 with Jeff Cross and a whole bunch of other stuff with CleanFacts. That CleanFacts is owned by the ISSA. You want to be a member of that association is great. If you're not, you want to get a listing there. You want to get a listing from the new Think Clean, the How We Clean It with Howie Mandel. There's if you're a member of the ISSA, you're automatically on that list as well. That's a citation that comes back to you. So you want to make sure that you're on those. You also want to make sure you're on local directories as well. So you want to get on the local Rotary Club if you're sponsoring that, and anywhere that you can get your name, address, phone number in a local sense as well. That also makes sense. If there's a cleaning supply company that has local cleaners in the area, get your listing on there as well. Why? Because Google sees that as a great local source. Yes, they're in this town. Yes, they do this service. Yes, and it's all the same thing. And it really, really helped put you ahead of the competition, right? So now we've got lots of real reviews, right? You want to have real reviews. We've talked about that. So how do we get reviews? Well, we want to leverage tools that request feedback and reviews after every service call. And see how the way I put feedback in bold there, or in capitals? I'm going to tell you why we talk about feedback and reviews and not just reviews. You want to leave printed cards behind that give people the place to go to do all of this. You want to have your techs involved in this so you can have your technicians ask for it. You want to plant seeds as well. So basically, you could even be done on the phone. Hey, thanks so much for booking that in. Now, just as you know, a lot of customers, a lot of people respect reviews as much as a recommendation from a friend. It's really important to our business. So if we do an amazing job, would you be willing to give us a review at the end of the job? That is not done well. That's a good planting of a seed question to ask. Then the technician arrives and, hey, I'm going to do a great job for you. And if I do a great job, do you mind mentioning my name in a review? Right? You can, if you do it well and rehearse it and practice it doesn't come across cheesy at all. And then at the end, you can have them make sure they mention it as well. Leave a card behind. Also have it. You can make a call after, the next day follow-up calls as well. We've got a lot of clients that use a tool that we have that, they request feedback and reviews from the customer, and anybody who just didn't open it, didn't go through it, those are the ones that get the follow-up call. So it might be 2 days later. Hey, I noticed you didn't fill out our feedback survey or provide a review online or anything like that. I just want to make sure you're happy with the cleaning. Great, awesome. Can I ask you a few questions? Boom, boom, boom. Go through the survey. Cool. Now you're going to get a link right away that lets you post that on Google. Would you mind giving us a Google review? Here's why. And you can walk them through on the phone as well, right? And you want to build reviews into your company culture. So you can give away there's some companies that give away, the technician, the employee with the most names mentioned in reviews in the year gets $2,500. There's $100 a month available, and then a $2,500 end of year super bonus and things like that to make it that important. You don't have to go that extreme, but think of it as how can you give brownie points and cheers and woo-woos and high fives and all that kind of stuff, and let the company know that, hey, you just got another review with your name mentioned in it. That's amazing, right? The more you make it important to you as the business owner, the more you make it important to your employees. And that's the key strategy there. Right? Now, what we do is you can take reviews much further. We call it trust engineering. So you have a plan, a strategic and systematic plan to be seen as the expert in your industry, because you're not just getting reviews on Google, you're actually using your reviews and your reputation and customer interactions as the key cornerstone of your marketing. So big part of Google Maps could be bigger for your business because we know reviews are an important conversion tool. Well, what if they didn't make it to Google? Can you do something else, right? So we call it requesting feedback from every customer in a very strategic way. Because when you request feedback, not only do you get a lot of data, so a quick little survey, 5, 6, 7 questions, right? So they're going to get the feedback, and there's ways to do it where they can get a request for a Google review right on the spot, and shortly thereafter, they get an email request for feedback to fill out a survey. So maybe an hour or two later from the office or from the owner versus the technician saying, hey, would you be willing to give us a review? Great. I can pop you a quick little link, and they pop over, they sign the customer through a form, and the customer gets both, right? One now, one in a short little bit, right? So that's one way to think of it that way as well. So sorry, just give me a quick second. Okay, just making sure my screen is still showing. Perfect. Okay, coolio. So yeah, so you the one thing you get is more online reviews because of that. So that's an important consideration as well. Now, part of that whole process is, again, for automations, our tool is called Recognition Profit System. It allows us to market out the feedback, market out the reviews, grab reviews from all the sources around the web, as well as the feedback, and share them out as videos and images, and really, really, really build up that conversion principle around that trust. But even on a low end, there are services like Review Buzz and Nearby Now and Customer Lobby and Bird Eye and stuff like that that do some of that as well. That at least send out a review request and will sort of aggregate that a little bit. So you want to make sure you're doing something, and the more you do, the better. And then finally, we're going to talk about on-page optimization. And this is kind of a quick topic. This is once you've got all of that figured out, you got to make sure that the website is connected correctly, right? So it's on-page optimization connects the dots for Google. So it's huge for Maps rankings. You want a page about each and every type of service you offer, not one page that talks about them all. So if you do 5 different services, you have 5 different pages. If you do 7 services, you have 7 service pages. You want mention of your keywords and cities served on your homepage in the title tag. So in the coding of your website, there's things called H1s, H2s, H3s. Just means heading 1, heading 2, heading 3, and it's a priority order. Just like when you're reading a document, here's the title, then here's the, an indented subtitle and maybe a topic title. That's the exact same thing. On your page, Google all Google knows how to do is read, and it knows how to read H tags as well and knows what that means. So if you can mention your keywords and your services and the cities that you serve on the homepage of your website in these title tags and throughout the content, you're teaching Google more about, this company does these services in this area. Then you're going to have a page about each one of the services. And then you're going to have a page about each service area, each city or suburb that you service. And you don't want to go nuts with it. You don't want to have 500 service area pages and 5 other pages on your website. That actually will cause your website to be suppressed a little bit. You want to, we find that a good sweet number start with, 5 to 10 service area pages and maybe add a few other ones so you get up to maybe 20, that kind of idea over time. Beyond that, you're stuffing, and you want each one of these pages needs to be unique. I'll actually show you what that looks like, but you want your full name, address, and phone number in the footer, and you want that linking to your Google Maps listing, and you want to have what's called schema code installed as well. Google reads the code. They're a reader. That's all it does is read. So it reads the code, and there's a called schema markup that knows how to tell Google, oh, this is a business. Here's the business's name. Here's the business's logo. Here's the business's hours, and all of that matches your Google listing. And you've got your schema set up right on your homepage, on your contact us page. You've got all your service schema set up on your service pages, and all the different your article schema set up on your blog post page. All of that just teaches Google who you are and connects the dots. And the more you connect the dots for Google, the better you're going to rank. So as an example, you have a category of services. Not only are these services, service pages, but that is a category in Google My Business, right? Google Business Listing. So upholstery cleaning, commercial cleaning, we saw all of those, right? So some of these are not categories, but you still want pages, but you want all of your categories for sure, at least in that listing, right? So think of it in that terms because you're now connecting the dots back to Google. And then you want your name, address, and phone number on your website, linking back to your Google listing. And in the background, that's all coded in schema. And then on the page, you want to make sure that your cities are mentioned on the page, what services you do in what cities, right? So, and then you want to have those service area pages. So as an example, you might have a whole bunch of service areas. These are the main ones, and you've got pages that list, each one of them. And on those pages, you have the coding. This is an example way up here of the coding, something called a title tag. So that's when you go to a website, what do you see on that tab? If you hover over the tab, what does it say? Well, you want to make sure you're mentioning, the services that you do in the city and essentially branding your business as well, right? So you want to talk about, again, this one, for example, would be the Fairview, Utah page. It talks about carpet upholstery cleaning services in Fairview, Utah, and Fairview, Utah, right there as well. So you're connecting the dots again between your company, on your website, your brand, your services, the cities you service. All of that is being connected together, right? So what did we cover? We covered our 4-step formula that we just wrapped up, the number one issue that could be preventing your company from ranking on Google Maps, and the key ingredients for the top 3 listings, right? So you want to claim and optimize your Google Maps listing. These are the 4. You want to build citations and NAP consistency. You want to make sure you have lots of real reviews and more of them coming in, and you want to optimize your on-page properly. You do those 4 things well, and you are showing up in Google Maps, and Google Maps will become the number 1 driver of phone calls into your business. So hopefully you had some takeaways. Hopefully you learned something from today's training. You might want to come back and chunk through some sections again, maybe send in some questions. For us, this is just one part of our digital dominance method. It's one of the pieces that really, really, really help a company start, maybe, they've been years in business. Maybe they're only a year or 2 in business. Maybe they're 10 years, 20 years in business, but they're doing a little bit and now you start to dominate. Now you start to optimize. You start doing all of the right things that we keep talking about in these training master classes and seminars and stuff like that. You start plugging the pieces in and growing over time. You get your maps listing right. You get your website right. You get your ads right. You get your social media right. You get your follow-up and retention right. You do all of these things well, and you have a lead database, and you're marketing your lead database. All of these things, and now your business is just exponentially growing as you add the next layer. It just snowballs on top of the previous layer. You're using your reputation and your feedback and your reviews as one of your most major marketing pieces, and that creates your authority and creates all of that. So it just expands your visibility. So brand, authority, and visibility are the three main categories that you need to be focusing on. You want and having to build that digital dominance. If that makes sense, if anybody wants to connect, talk to us. carpetcleanermarketingmasters.com/schedule. Then Rima will reach out to you. You can get on our calendar and have our research team look over all your stuff. We're going to run one of those reports. You can go there and run one yourself right now, but we're going to grab one of those reports, but we're also going to do a deep dive into a bunch of other stuff. And then we're going to jump on a call, have a conversation. Where do you want to go? What are you looking at? And walk you through a plan to get there. Let us know where you are. Let us do that deep dive. Let us figure out that plan for you. If there's pieces we can help with, great. If there's things that you want to kind of try and aim at yourself, that's fine too. But just jump on a call and let's connect if that makes sense to you. So keep an eye out for us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, all the places. Definitely send a shout out, say hi, share this to anybody you know that's in the home service, home cleaning industry that might find value in this as well. Anybody else that owns these businesses, they go, hey, I don't know if they know any of this stuff. Probably would be worth learning as well. So with that said, really appreciate you for showing up. Thank you so much for your time, and I appreciate your time. Thanks so much.